Hello, everybody. Welcome to our broadcast today. My name is Dr. Chidi, and I'm reaching you guys from Toronto, Canada. Wherever you are, I welcome you to today's broadcast. Do me a favor and help us share this broadcast. Invite as many people as possible. Share it. Let people come and partake in the broadcast. Okay. Today is a weekend. Um, Over here in Toronto, it's 2 p.m. I know some of you are still in church, and so you get to see this after you come back from church. But if you went to church early and you're back home, I believe by now you should be able to participate in what we are doing. Today, if you have not seen the topic or you don't know what we're talking about today, we're talking about men of God arresting children of God. And I put up a picture of Paul Enenche and Pastor Deboye. And then, of course, two of the people they are having issues with. I will be talking about them in the program. I have some guests who will be on the program with me to help us, make sense of this whole thing. Told you guys, I don't like if you've been following me, I try my best to get to the bottom of issues. I don't just um, I don't just comment on issues just because everybody is commenting or just post because everybody is posting. I like to go and get the facts from the beginning. Get the facts from from the origin. Okay. So, and when I do that, sometimes some people quarrel with me. They think that my views don't align with them. They want me to see things the way they see things, but that's not me. I try to see things from an objective perspective and I get to the roots. I ask questions, I interact with people that I think they know before I jump into conclusions. Okay. So today we're going to be looking at these issues that are all over the place. Pastors arresting people, taking them to court, using the police. The latest one is where they just arrest you, put you on a flight, and then next thing you find yourself in Abuja. Okay, I just don't know. And most of the times, these people did not steal anything. These people did not break into the church. These people did not sleep with the pastor's wife or anybody in the congregation. It is what they said with their mouth, okay? And I know the Bible says the power of life and death resides in the mouth. And as you all know, I'm also an ordained minister of the gospel. I'm a pastor. In fact, the doctor in my name is Reverend Dr. Chidi, for those of you who don't know. So I am not here to speak against the church, and yet the Bible says that judgment will start from the house of the Lord. So we, the people who are Christians, will be the ones judging the church. So it is okay when we start the judgment in the church, all right? When we look at what we're doing and we chastise ourselves and we say, hey, you're doing wrong here, you're not doing right there, it is okay, all right? I am going to wait for our guests to come in and let us hear the real gist. Like I said in the advert, I said join me so that you can hear the real gist live. What exactly happened? How did it happen? Where is the case right now? And we also have, I'm going to put a link that anybody who wishes to join us can also use this link to join us. Okay. Right now, because of so many platforms that exist now, and the ease for people to broadcast live, it's usually difficult to gather a large number of people to your live event. Okay, so that's understandable now. That's why I don't take it for granted when I see anybody showing up in my live broadcast. I really appreciate you because I know you could have been somewhere else. So I'm still waiting for Dr. S.M. Oyege, who is going to be my guest today, to tell me exactly what happened. I know what I've heard, I know what I've seen. Okay, I've interacted with people, but I really want to hear it from someone who is close to the action, someone who knows exactly what is going on, who knew when it happened, who has been following up with the case, who is speaking with the people directly involved. I'm going to place a call and see if I'm able to know what is going on from their side. I'm hoping that we would will be able to get him online. But please, if you're already here, help me to share this video. This is a very hot topic and a very controversial one at that. So we don't want anybody to be left out of this. We don't want anybody to say, "Oh, if we had known, we would have been there to ask questions by ourselves." Um, uh, okay, okay, Dr. Brooks, how are you? How are you? Good to have you here. Thank you very much for joining. Um, I'm trying to get to Dr. S. Emoyege. He is the person who knows so much about this case, and I'd like to hear from him. Then the reason is that uh, okay, we're waiting for you, doctor. Okay, let me come online. All right, thank you. Okay, so you see, people get very busy. Sometimes they forget. That's why it's good for you not to assume. It's better for you to reach out to people and know what's going on. So he's going to be joining us any moment from now. But that means you still have time to share the video and bring people here. Let me just post this, and let me quickly post this on. Let me quickly post this on on X, on Twitter. Let me post this on Twitter. Um, yeah, I'm gonna post this on Twitter, and then I'll come back and speak with our special guest. How do you? Okay, let me just post this here on Twitter so that people can join us who are on Twitter. Okay, I just made a post here on Twitter. Let me put the image, attach the image, and then yes, make the post. All right. Now it's on Twitter, so we are gonna get some people joining us from Twitter. Um, I think we are ready to bring in our special guest. Uh, okay, he's backstage, just trying to get his his equipment, working. And but I must warn you guys, anything goes. He could be ready to go, and something happens in Nigeria. They might take the light, the network may cut, something may disconnect. It's expected. So just just warning you guys ahead of time. Don't say I didn't tell you. Okay. But that's why I really lift off my heart for any comrade who is holding the ground there for us. But let me just bring him in so that we don't waste any opportunity we have. So we have in the studio Dr. S.M. Oyege. How are you, sir?
Very well. Good evening, Dr. Shidi. Good evening, comrade members. Good evening, our viewers. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for
Yeah,
having me on.
I was saying that you guys are really the heroes of our time. Anybody that can be in Nigeria and still be managing somehow to keep their heads afloat, you still have to buy data, you still have to go through this terrible connection and do what you do. Kai, God will bless you people. I don't know how you do it. I'm telling you.
Thank you. It's not easy. It's a whole lot of sacrifice, but what can we do? We are here. Some people must be here.
A lot of sacrifice, but really we appreciate it. Now, Dr. Esemo Yege, for the benefit of those who do not know you, just give us in 2 seconds a description or of who you are.
Okay, 2 seconds, a short time, short time. But then I am, as you said, I'm SM Oyege. I'm a lawyer based in Abuja. Of course, I'm into general practice, but I have an uncommon bias for human rights and public interest litigation.
Awesome.
Of course, of course, I don't know, but I had my first degree at the Boy State University, second class honors upper division, master's degree at the Nasarawa State University. I had a Doctor of Laws from Emperor West University, USA, and I'm also pursuing a PhD in law at the Nile University of Nigeria.
Mm, mm. Awesome. Thank you very much. Now, the title of our discussion today is Men of God Arresting Children of God. Okay. And particularly, I want to zoom in on the trending case right now. It's involving Dr. Paul Enenche and also the Adeboye on the other side. But I would like to focus on Paul Enenche and the controversy around him and some former pastors of former pastor of his church and also a family member. So, can you tell us
And
what you know? I've deliberately not called names and all of that because I need to talk to somebody like you who I know is really close to that case. So, first of all, tell us how close you are to that case, and then generally describe to us, what is the real situation of that case, the origin, who is involved, and where we are in that case right now.
okay, thank you. Firstly, with respect to my position in that matter, I'm the lawyer for the defendants. I'm using the word defendants because the matter is already in court. And then, firstly, who are the defendants? First, we have one Abraham Daniel. Abraham Daniel was a former member and a pastor of the Dynamic Church. He was the pastor in charge of Caro Branch. Caro Branch is, of course, churches have different branches. So
Yeah, yeah.
Caro is a town in both Abuja and Nasarawa. So he was in charge of the Caro Branch, right? Then the second person in that matter is one Mr. Peter Enenche. Peter Enenche is a namesake, you know, of the Enenche. And then we also add one Alexander Enenche. Alexander Enenche is a younger brother to the famous popular pastor Dr. Paul Enenche, right? And we also had Reno Omokri in the matter, you know. Now, the that matter, now briefly, it's predicated upon a petition by one Mr. Adama and Pastor Paul Enenche. They are the complainants. But in the real sense, we all know very well, no need to mince word, the principal complainant in this matter is Pastor Paul Enenche, because the so-called Adama, who they've been flaunting, had no interest in this matter. He had no locus. Rather, he's coming under the guise that is a member of the Concerned Christian Forum. I'm also a Christian, right? So being a Christian does not give me the locus to say that, okay, Mr. A wrote or made a publication against, let's say, Abioye or Oyedepo, eh? Or the Living Faith pastor or the Redeemed pastor or even the Winner Chapel, any of the churches. The mere fact that I'm a Christian does not give me the right to say, why did you talk about Pastor Chris Oyakileme? Why did you talk about the Abioye or Ebiomie? It doesn't give me the locus.
So let
Now,
me understand. Let me understand. This man, what do you call his name? This guy that filed that is a co-complainant with Paul Enenche. What? Please remind me his name again. You just mentioned his name.
David Adama, one Mr. Paul Adama.
This Paul Adama, is he a member of Dunamis Church?
Obviously, he is. Obviously, he is. He is obviously.
Okay. Is he a staff of the ministry?
That I wouldn't know. But even if it's a staff of the ministry,
I just
it's
want,
of no moment.
okay, we're just so he filed a complaint on behalf of Paul Enenche.
No, he did not file that complaint on behalf of Paul Enenche. Rather, he is the one being flaunted. He is the one that went to adopt the petition. He did not file on behalf of Paul Enenche. He filed alongside Paul Enenche. Why?
So
Because the report
Paul Enenche
is a
filed
complainant.
alongside. Oh, he's the
There are two
complainant.
complainants.
Okay.
There are two complainants. One, Paul Enenche. Two, this Mr. Dama. So there are two complainants.
Okay.
So whether either way we look at it, what we are saying is that Mr. Dama is a nominal complainant. He had no interest in the matter. Rather, he's just doing the bidding of Pastor Paul Enenche. That's what we are saying.
Okay.
Because why we are saying this is, now let's get it very clear. The matter involving these 4 persons, currently there are 2 standing trial, is the alleged criminal defamation, right? And defamation is a personal action, right? So if for example, Dr. Shidi say I am a madman, I'm the person being defamed. So I'm the one who has the locus, that is the standing to go to court and say, this thing you said of and concerning me is defamatory. In fact, it's even not just civil defamation, either way, whether civil or criminal, but it's lowering my estimation, is my personality in the estimation of right-thinking members of the society. So I am the person that has a right to take up any matter. So Mr. Adama, none of the alleged publication, none of the alleged statements being shared on Facebook or any of the social media handles concern this Adama. So let's leave him out of the way. We all know the principal person in this matter is Pastor Paul Enenche.
Okay.
That's the truth.
Okay. So what you're saying?
Yes.
No, I'm just trying to learn from what you just said right now. You're saying that I cannot wake up and say, what they say to that man, no, I don't like it. Then I'll go and file a case against that person.
It doesn't concern you because you are not the one being defamed. Defamation is a personal action. It's personal.
What if that thing that you said about that person has caused me emotional stress that I cannot sleep anymore?
It doesn't concern you. That's what I'm not. That is, the law is what it is. The law says defamation is a personal action.
So it's like it's like drinking Panadol for somebody's headache.
In fact, put it more clearly, it's like saying you contested an election, right?
Yes.
And let's say you lost, right? And then your supporters are saying, no, you should have won. So therefore, they are going to court to challenge the outcome of the election on your behalf as a petitioner.
Yes.
Cannot do
So,
that. They cannot
okay. All right. Ah, you see why it's good
do
to
that,
do this.
right?
Okay.
You
Okay.
contested the election.
Hmm.
So if anybody is to go to court to challenge the outcome of the election, it should be you.
Okay. Now I see. All right. I better continue. It's getting interesting. That's why it's good to hear from people who know more than you.
Yeah.
So he now
And
went and continue,
yes,
please.
and now I think let me even give you a
Ah, see.
breakdown of what this matter is.
Okay.
Now, let's start from the onset. There were four, in fact, there was a petition written against several persons. Let's go
Okay.
to the genesis. I don't know how much time I have, but
No,
so that the
please
viewers
go
can
ahead. Go
understand
ahead. You have all the time in the world. Go ahead. Go
the
ahead.
petition. There was a petition against one, Mr. Reno Mokri,
Okay.
two, Peter Enenche,
Okay. Please go
Daniels.
ahead. Yes.
Five, there's this media outlet they call Kelechi TV. Six,
Okay.
this social media personality, Auntie Aduni. So there were about 10 of them, right? And what is this complaint? Funny enough, right? All these persons I have mentioned, they were different complaint and allegation against them. Contrary to what the people might be thinking, that it's one complaint. For Alexander Enenche is a younger brother to Pastor Paul Enenche. The complaint against Alexander Enenche was that he shared certain information to Abraham Daniel. What are these messages? That one has to do with the daughter of Pastor Paul Enenche, that she's putting on tattoos. She had tattoos on her body, right? What is the second complaint? The second complaint has to do with an apartment in the village where the only surviving aunt of Mr. Alexander Enenche and Pastor Paul, where the surviving aunt is living. And then they allege that Abraham Daniel, right, now published these stuffs on social media. That is the complaint against Alexander Enenche and in extension Abraham. As for Peter Enenche, Peter Enenche is a namesake. They've been having running battle. One of the issues they've been having is that Pastor Paul had asked them to change asked him to change his name, that he should not answer Enenche since he's not part of the Enenche family. So they've been having that battle for over 12 months,
No, no,
right?
no. Please, doctor, wait. Help me understand that the issue Pastor Nenche has with uh, Peter Nenche
Peter
is
Enenche.
that he's answering Nenche. He should go and change his
Yeah.
name. Like,
That's
are
one
you
of the
really
issues.
serious? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's one of the issues. Now, that's one of the issues. I'm coming. So so why I'm saying this is that these persons whom a petition has been written against, they had different complaints. Now, so for Peter and Nenche, they've been having this running battle. But then this instant petition act was predicated on a write-up purportedly done by Reno Mokri, wherein this Peter Enenche shared. Get the point. Reno Mokri made a write-up on social media, and Peter Enenche shared it. So it's offense as far as the information at my disposal is concerned. Is the offense against him is that why did he share this write-up? For Abraham Daniel, it might interest you to know that, like we said, Abraham had worked in Dunamis for over 10 years. He was a pastor in charge of Cairo branch, right? He met that branch with just about 900 members. And by the time he left that branch, he had pushed it to over 3,000 members, right?
Mm-hmm.
He conducted crusade programs wherein Dr. Pastor Paul Enenche was invited and was marveled at the level of growth. The videos are there. He commended Abraham, right? Now, at some point, there was a fallout. He was no longer comfortable with the things around the Christendom, and he pulled out from the church, right? Now, between the time he pulled out around 2018 till now, it might interest you to know that he has been arrested and detained for about 4 to 5 times. About 4 to 5 times. And he made this known on one of the arrests when the DSS invited him. He made, in fact, on one of the on one of the occasions in the bid to have him arrested, right? He bashed his car. The car he was using for hire purchase. It was damaged. It became a scrap, uneconomic to repair, and he was arrested. And when he was taken to Nyanya police station, Nyanya is a place in Abuja, right? The DPO asked him, "Do you know Pastor Paul Enenche?" He said, "Yes, I do." He was even surprised. Oh, Pastor Paul again is the complainant in this matter. So when Abraham narrated his own side of the story, what they concluded was that it's an issue that can be resolved. Reach out to Pastor Paul. He tried to call Pastor Paul, that was some years back, and he didn't pick. Subsequently, he was again, of course, from there he was taken to court, and then he was taken to prison, a Suleja prison, and he eventually came out. After he came out, he was again arrested and taken to FCID, that is First Criminal Investigation Department in Abuja. On getting there, one of the pastors, I think I can't remember his name, Pastor Sam or so, intervened. And then one of the conditions they gave to him is that please stop making publications against the church. Pull down your social media Facebook account with over 100,000 followers. And he told them, I'm even tired of this dragging. I'm ready to pull it down. But in the course of trying to arrest me, my car is damaged, right? My car is damaged. I will want it repaired and all of that, or. And they told him that's not a problem. It will be sorted out. We'll get you a car. And at the station, he pulled down his social Facebook account. Few days after, they had a meeting at the Glory Dome, right? And on getting there, he was surprised when he was offered about 250,000 or so, 220 or 250,000. He collected the money, but he was wondering because the agreement was that his car will be fixed or he will be given a new car. That again was not done, right? Sometime around January, yes, around December, January, they got yet another invitation by the FIB First Investigation Department at Shehu Shagari Way, Abuja. On the 7th of January, they honored the invitation voluntarily. That's Abraham Daniel and Alexander Enenche, who is Pastor Paul's younger brother. On getting there, right, uh, towards evening, they took their statement, and then towards evening, they said, okay, your guy is not around, we cannot grant you bail, right? And then they were detained till the next day. Many media outlets that were aware of the invitation now made publications. And then the next day, the officers were angry that their anger was that why was it publicized? And then when they told me, I said, what is the basis for the anger? Were you not detained? Is there anything in that reportage that is wrong? You were invited on the 7th, your statement was recorded, and then you were detained till the next day, being 8th. That is essentially, and then the complainant is Pastor Paul. That is essentially the media report. Is there anything wrong about this report? So they were, of course, granted bail the next day, being 8th of January. They were asked to return back on Monday. Of course, they asked that all the publications be brought down. Of course, it's at the discretion of the media houses to bring down any publication, mostly for a publication that is correct. So eventually they were asked to report back on the 13th of January. They reported back on the 13th of January, right? And then on that day, they purportedly procured a court order, and then they were taken to prison. Since then, of course, we've been battling it, trying to see how far we can have the purported remand order set aside, but we're not able to because of certain issues which we would not want to dwell so much on. But long story short, right, we're able to on the next date, being the 30th or 31st of January, right, we informed the court that we had filed a motion on notice to set aside the remand order. On that day, they discontinued the first information report against Reno Mokri and Alexander Enenche. And then the first information report was read out to Abraham Daniel and Peter Enenche, who were pleaded non-guilty. We applied, we sought leave. Being a court, the magistrate court are what we call courts of summary jurisdiction or lower courts. So they might grant you leave to apply for their bail orally. We applied for their bail orally. The court gave us the permission, and we applied for their bail orally. The prosecutor also replied orally on point of law, along the line informed the court of an altercation that happened between one of the defense lawyers and the prison officials. As a result of which the court said he wasn't going to take us orally again, we should come formally. And he adjourned the matter till 7th of January. Of course, we filed our motion on notice formally for their bail. And on the 7th of January, we moved our motion, our application. Of course, the prosecutor said he wasn't going to oppose the application for bail because the Oshudoma had intervened. And then eventually they were granted or admitted to bail on terms that appear very stringent. One of them was that the two defendants should bring a civil servant of level 15 and above who is to deposit international passports, right? The second shorty should be a reasonable and responsible Nigerian. You know, the terms were quite onerous, but we're able to perfect their bill. And the matter was consequently adjourned to 26th of March for hearing. You know, but what we must tell Nigerian is that, and of course, we had mentioned that to the court and to the prosecutor. Anytime they are ready, we are ready. We are ready. We are willing and ready to see their witnesses, their Dama, who had an interest in the matter, the Pastor Paul, who was alleged to have been defamed. We are ready to meet them in court. We are ready any day, anytime. We made known to the court that in fact we pushed that the bill should even be on self-recognizance because they have the defendants and trial have nowhere to run to. These are people who voluntarily honored police invitation. Police admitted them to bail administratively. So there's nothing to fear. Grant them bail on self-recognizance any day, anytime. We will meet them in court. We are ready. Peter Enenche is working with the federal government. You know, he's part of the Tinubu group. So is that the person that will run? So we have nothing to fear. But surprisingly, the court still came up with certain terms that appear very stringent and onerous. But luckily, with the intervention of well-meaning Nigerians, we're able to perfect the bill. So we are ready to confront them. But one thing Nigerians must know that the complainant in this matter, the documents are there. The principal complainant in this matter is Pastor Paul Enenche.
Okay. You see, there's some things that when I hear in this matter, it's a little confusing to me. I'm not a lawyer, but when I'm beginning to see now that if someone just says that it's almost getting to a point where someone would just feel, if someone says, I feel you don't, I feel that I don't like you. It looks like that someone just says that I don't, Dr. Yege, I don't think I like you. That person, it looks to me like that person can actually tell the police to arrest you and you'll be charged to court and it becomes a case. Isn't that what we're seeing now?
Apparently, that's exactly what we are seeing. And you see, in the bid to ventilate our client's remonstrance during the period of the arrest, because all of this is about gagging the social media space. All of this is about shrinking their right to express themselves. So we equally filed a fundamental rights suit on behalf of one, Abraham Daniels, two, Peter Enenche, three, Alexander Enenche, against Pastor Paul Enenche and the Nigerian Police Force. So in the coming days, that matter will be coming up and the Nigerians will be aware of the outcome. But we also want to make it very clear that in line with what you said, which has to do with shrinking, in summary, what Dr. Shidi, you said is that all of this about shrinking the media space. And it's important to also make Nigerians know that we also filed a fundamental rights suit, essentially seeking for a declaration as to whether the conduct of the respondent does not amount to a breach of the right to freedom of expression of the applicants.
Well, let me ask you something. I'm a Christian, and you are a Christian, Dr. Yeager. You can see somebody wrote something. It says, but bros, Abraham gets small something. No, okay. What he's trying to say is this, and I want to ask you: if somebody that used to be a Christian and used to be a pastor now gets up and says, "Oh, I don't want to be a Christian again," don't you think that's enough for the person to be arrested and denied their freedom of speech? Because I mean, as Christians, this person is trying to become an evil person, and is demonic, and we shouldn't allow that to happen. Is that enough reason to have a man of God arrest them? Would that not drive the devil that is in their head away?
Well, you see, the truth is, in discussing issues like this, let's leave sentiment, right? The constitution of the Nigerian constitution is supreme, right? Section 1 sub 1 of the constitution provides that the constitution is supreme, and its provision shall have a binding effect on all persons and authorities throughout the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Section 1 sub 3 proceeded to say that if any law is inconsistent with the provisions of this constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. Right? In chapter 4 of the constitution, it provides for what we call the fundamental human rights. They are called fundamental because they inure to everybody by virtue of the fact that you are a human being. They are part and parcel of you. One of the fundamental rights provided for in the constitution is the right to freedom of thoughts, to think the way you want to think. Conscience, have whatever you want in your mind. And religion, right? And section 12 of the constitution provides that Nigeria is not a secular state. So Nigeria cannot adopt one religion and say this is a state religion. What I'm trying to say is that the right to religion is a personal right. I can wake up today as a Christian, and then in the afternoon I say I'm no longer interested in Christianity. By afternoon of the same day, I'm going to be a Muslim. And by evening, I decide to be an African traditional worshiper. And by tomorrow, I decide to be a Hindu. Right? So the mere fact that once was a Muslim, a Christian, and even a pastor, and say, well, he's no longer interested in the Christian faith, it's of no moment. It's of no moment. We should allow him be. If anybody has factual issues or evidential issues of any wrongdoing, they should proceed against him on that line. But the mere fact that he was a Christian, he was in dunamis, he was a pastor, and he's no longer interested, should not be a reason to wish hunt him. There's nothing wrong about changing your religion.
Because that brings me to another side matter, because in Anambra State, they just put out a law now, and they're going around and they are arresting people who are traditional worshippers. And I know when somebody is breaking the law, that is different, but I keep questioning, the rationale, or how do you begin to now define somebody who, on the basis of their faith, is doing something wrong and getting them arrested? I think there's a very gray area there. What do you think about that, just as a side comment?
Yes, for now, I've not laid hand on the law made by the Anambra State government, but I really doubt if that is the real intendment of the law, because like I said, I haven't seen it. But then I really doubt that the lawmakers would deliberately want to make a law that they know very well that shrinks the rights of others, right? And if it is true, I'm sure the law will be challenged and thrown out, because section 4 sub 5 of the constitution provides for what we call the doctrine of covering the field, right? Where there are other laws, in this case the constitution, right? And then there's a law validly made by a state house of assembly that interferes, right, with the law made by the National Assembly or the constitution. That other law made by the state house of assembly or any other body shall be, to the extent of that inconsistency, be void, right? So I don't think the state house of assembly, I don't know if there's a law, I have not read it, like I said. So I don't think there's any law to that effect. But one thing we must know is that the right to freedom of religion is a fundamental right. So if I'm a traditionalist, except you can prove that in the course of worshiping my faith, maybe I'm using human beings and doing sacrifices with human, that's a different thing, because by that I have I'm breaching the right of others, and I'm even my conduct to be criminal. But if I am carrying out
we're having network issues.
my traditional worship, I really stepped.
Okay. A little bit of a network issue there. There's someone in the comment section. His name is Culture Network. He says, I am Abraham Daniel, watching you, distinguished comrades. And I just sent a link that if he's able to click on that link and join us in the studio, I will appreciate that. So I don't know whether Dr. Yege, whether you're even able to send him the studio link
Yeah.
that
Oh, yes. Yes, I did. I informed him about this program, and I, of course, sought his consent that if he's chance or disposed, you should
oh,
come online because his issue will also be discussed. So if he's able to come up, I'm sure he's going to state his own side of the story,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
factually. Hmm.
Abraham, so if you're able to join us, that will be very much appreciated, because all we're trying to do here is to hear from the horse's mouth, as it were. Now, Dr. Oyege,
Yes.
I don't want people to misunderstand this or to misconstrue this. Of course, as a lawyer, you know much better than all of us that there are limits to which you can discuss a case that is in court. And
Yeah.
from my layman's perspective, I know that everybody is innocent until proven guilty. So people have their day in court, and the case has to be argued in court until finally we are able to determine who is guilty or not guilty. But then we also have the court of public opinion that you can't do anything about it. It is there by virtue of our position as members of the public. We look at things and we discuss it. We express our or demonstrate our freedom of speech in this on these matters, okay? And then whatever we come up with, it becomes whatever it is. You can't do anything about it. But based on that, just talking as normal citizens, right? I want us to talk about our society and our view of what we construe as respect and disrespect. Because I hear people saying, Haba, Chidi, this one you're supporting this person. Did you hear what they said? Did you hear what they told that elder? Did you hear what they told that God of man, I be man of God? Do you hear what they told Papa? Do you hear what they told Chief? Do you hear what they told Elder? So I'm thinking, is that really the law? Is that really proper? Help us understand, because as someone who knows the law, what is it? Try to paint a picture between what we conceive as right and what is really right in the eye of the law. At what point can you just wake up and say this person is guilty of insulting an elder, and so you begin to clap at whatever measures or ill treatment is being meted out on this person unlawfully or unjustly without even knowing? So help us understand this, because Nigeria, any move you make, you're insulting elder, you're insulting Papa, you're insulting God of man and man of God. I don't know.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Chidi. Now, first, let me start with your first line of worry or comments. Quite all right, the matter is in court, and we are also very, very careful in our discussion. We have never and we will not go into the merit of the matter. All we can say is that the matter is in court. They are alleging criminal defamation, and all we will say is that anytime the matter is adjourned to 26th of March, anytime they are ready, we are ready. On our own part, we've also filed fundamental rights, right?
Mhm,
And then in the coming days, all parties will have their day in court, right?
mhm,
Now, on issue of insult, it depends on the context, because Dr. Shidi, from what you said, there were two narratives. One is law. Two is the aspect of respect, has to do with morality. Strictly
mhm,
speaking,
mhm,
good morning, sir, or you do not greet me. That is
mhm,
morality. Maybe if I was brought up in a depending on my upbringing, right? If I was not properly brought up, I might disrespect people. That is morality,
mhm,
right? And morality is not law. They are two different things, right?
mhm,
Law has to do with conduct that violates existing laws. For example, let's go into the aspect of even criminal defamation, right?
mhm,
I may have said things, right, that runs contrary to the cybercrime act. You understand? That is when criminal defamation can come in. And even the criminal defamation, unfortunately, if you look at it just between November, December till date, you can imagine the number of persons that have been tracked, arrested, detained, possibly charged to court, right? You see, what they are trying to do is they are clamping down on dissent voices. That is not the intent of the act. That is not the intent of the act. In the coming days, of course, some persons have already gone to court to challenge some of the provisions. There are several matters on that too. But in the coming days, matters will be filed or in that respect. I won't go into that. But what I want us to know that that's not the intent of the act. It's an abuse. And you see, the thing is, democracy cannot flourish, right, in the absence of press freedom, in the absence of media freedom. Media it has a vital role to play in every democracy. Media checks the excess of government, report the excess of government. Do you understand? A clear conscience fears no accusation. If you know that your conscience is clear, you shouldn't be afraid of criticism. But in what we are saying is, immediately you say A, they want to clamp down on you to say, why did you say A? Like I said, that is not the intent of the act. That's why I'm not even surprised where several states have even outlawed this criminal defamation and then kept defamation in the realm of only civil wrong. So that if you allege that you've been defamed, approach it civilly, produce those defamatory words, those exact words or publication that you consider defamatory, right? Present your case, the court will look at it, the court will also look at the case of the defendant, and then come up with the position whether the alleged statement or publication was actually defamatory. But what we see today is trying to criminalize everything. Sadly so.
By the way, Abraham, thank you so much for
Yeah,
joining us. Yeah, my pleasure to
thank you
have
so much.
you. Yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much, and distinguished comrade and my able lawyer. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Mr. Brown.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you so much for honoring our invitation to this program. I'm going to come back
yeah.
to you, but I want to play something. I live in Canada. I live in Toronto, and our prime minister was giving a speech somewhere, and I want to play this video for you. I want to show you what is obtainable here. Okay, that will just I want to put something in context to help some people, because sometimes when we talk about certain things, people just say, "Oh, Chidi, you're just saying it because you're there." So I want to play this video. I want to play this video here. So observe this young man with the camcorder. So let's listen to the video.
As a second language programs. We will continue to work with people at the provinces.
Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you and your globalist counterparts. You're scumbags. You're an absolute scumbag.
Je suis très content de pouvoir souligner que nous avons fait des investissements historiques.
Now,
Again.
okay, I will. That what you just saw. What you just saw is the Prime Minister of Canada talking, and you see this guy calling him a scumbag right in his face. Those people that you saw that were ushering him away, those are all armed. These are his security details. These are special forces that you're seeing. They are not just normal people. They all have big guns. If somebody was to pull out a gun, you will see big machine guns and those guys in their suits. So these are not ordinary people. But you see how they walked him out? I'm going to show you the second tape. Let me play the second tape, and I'm getting to somewhere with this.
But I am trying to engage with you. I am trying to speak with you. I'm trying to answer a question from someone who asked me a question that is extremely important to her, and I'm not able to answer her question that she asked of the Prime Minister because you think your voice is more important than her ability to listen. That's not very polite.
Now, why did I play these two videos? You see, in one case, someone haggled the Prime Minister and was walked away from the premises. In the second video, someone started talking, and while she was talking, The prime minister listened. It caused the man tire. The man now explained to her that, you see, because of how you were behaving, I couldn't answer the question of the other person. This is, that now our president, oh. This is our own Tinubu. This is our Oga Kwata Kwata. That person that is talking to them is not minister. Is not anybody at all. The other young man is a young man of, I think he's about 17 or 18 years, a youth. And this is what we have here. These are the same, and Canada and Nigeria are equal partners and signatory to these laws that you're talking about, and human rights declaration and all those legal things that you people talk. So what is obtainable here is supposed to be what is obtainable in Nigeria. I'm showing you a physical video. Nobody said the person right. This one, the person said it before then. If this was in Nigeria, just imagine what will happen to those people. Their own don't finish. Do you understand? So when we are talking somehow, when we see people like you and defending the rights of citizens, and we are trying to give support and really stand behind you, it is because of things like this. It is almost equivalent to when in school, in our year, I think it was in my secondary school, in my year I didn't do SS3. It was around class 5. You know, just before we took quiet. I think that's when they introduced computer. We didn't see computer till we left school. They're teaching us desktop, keyboard, and these things. Now just tell us. And that's how we graduated. What we are seeing here is fundamental human rights in action. Freedom of speech. Not freedom of right, not be freedom of text, because people are being arrested now for exercising freedom of text, freedom of right. But you see somebody expressing themselves directly, audibly in front of the person. The French Prime Minister came here too. If I find that video, I'll play it before the end of the program. And on the streets, somebody was calling him names. And he couldn't do anything. He stopped and he was having exchange with those people. But look at what's happening in Nigeria. So I want people to understand the kind of work that people like you do. It's not that you're crazy, but you are trying to let our people understand what they don't know. And that concept that is very, very strange, it is actually practical. It's happening. And it's amazing that the people who are supposed to know, these people that are arresting people, they travel, they come here. So many times in a year, they come here, their children are in schools here. Anyway, let's go over to Abraham. Daniel.
Yeah, yes.
To have you here. Abraham.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
It is alleged that let me keep you here and keep our lawyer in the background for a minute. It is alleged that you are very, very disrespectful and very rude, and you know they respect people. Why are you like this?
My distinguished comrade, I don't know your time there. Here is evening, so I would go by our time. Good evening, or whatever platform, maybe.
Good afternoon here, no problem. Yes.
Good afternoon. Okay, good afternoon, sir. Honestly, I don't know where that is coming from, and it's so unfortunate that folks misunderstood me for that. I have never. We are talking now. You see how civil and sane I am. I'm a humanist now.
The picture that was painted of you, I thought you were like one very crazy guy. I've never really followed this case. Yes, I never really followed this case because there's so many things that are flying up and down. You know, some people say that Abraham is crazy, you leave him alone, or this one. But I really wanted to, I wanted to get into this case from a very objective perspective. I want to be talking directly to the people involved so that I can hear for myself. I don't want to base it on whoever. I'm going to reach out to Paul Enenche's camp and try to get something for. That's the way I behave. Let me actually shock you. When Paul Enenche, and this I say this with all due respect, when Paul Enenche was still starting, we were there in Abuja. I knew when they were in, is it Durumi? I think it was
Beside Old Federal Secretary.
Exactly. Yeah. I was the project architect for Family Worship Center. I was the supervising architect in that church. When you got, I don't know, were you in Dunamis that time?
Okay, I joined 2008. I joined 2008.
No, I had left Nigeria then. So way before that time, Paul Enenche came and he asked us to come and help with that church in Dunamis. I was one of the people who told him about the sound because there was a lot of because of the things we did in Family Worship Center, there was a lot of echoing in that auditorium. So we came.
Yeah, sample and all of that.
We did the sound with Pastor this guy. He later traveled anyway, tall guy. So we were the ones that did the sound system there, and because of his closeness to Pastor Inalegomako, because both of them are Idoma, he knew that we were planning to build the Dome of Hope. That church we have right now, that is a dream of Pastor Inalegomako. We were going to have a Dome of Hope sitting, it was a 100,000, no, it was 50,000 auditorium. And it was going to be by the airport road. That's where we were seeking for land. So we had done conceptual drawings. Now, how am I sure of what I'm talking about? Because eventually, architect Peter Olegene or so, I think Olegene or so, Alogene, architect Peter was part of that team that did that your church on Airport Road. He was part of the architects in the building team of Family Worship Center, and we all discussed about this dome together, having that structure that you have. So I know Paul Enenche very well. One of the people in the comment section, Okech Richards, Okech knows what I'm talking about. I just say that to let you know that I know where you guys are coming from. So go ahead, please. That was a little digression. But tell me this story. Tell me like somebody who doesn't know what is going on. What really happened? Please.
Yes, the case is in court. I don't know whether stringent bail condition. We signed some stringent bail applications, and part of it was consent of. So I don't know whether my lawyer with what is in court. I should talk. That is that because the case is sub judice. So that I don't go against.
Did you say you talk like someone who is well vested in the law? Did you say something like your lawyer?
No, what I said, Barrister Yogi Oyegi, is my lawyer, and we got bailed, and we had because the case is sub judice. Nigerian law, we had to sign a whole lot of condition not to talk on the matter. So I don't know whether
what I'm going to do now is, since your lawyer is here, Dr. Oyege, if you don't mind, I'm going to bring you backstage. Could you turn on your camera and advise us on what we're doing, because we're law-abiding people and we don't want to create any. So what are we entitled to discuss, and what is our limitation?
Yes. Now, since the matter is sub judice, like I said, you may not speak to the merits of the case, but that doesn't stop us from speaking on what are the facts that led to where you are. Your experiences at the police. What happened that you got to the police station, right? What is the issue? What you are confronted with a petition. You are given a petition to read. What was the petition about? What was your response? Right? Eventually, you were taken to the correctional center. How
Center,
did you get there? Right? Provided you're not speaking to, oh, I am right or I am wrong. We are going to win or we are going to lose. Right?
yeah.
That's where the issue of subjudice is. Whether you are speaking to the merit of the case. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we have some other people backstage here. I'm going to just bring them on so that they'll be listening with me. Thank you so much, okay?
Yeah.
So that whatever I don't hear, they will be able to hear for me. So go ahead, Daniel. Go ahead.
Okay. You ask, and my lawyer advice. Thank you so much. I've been a Christian since I was 9. Born into a Christian family, Assemblies of God, church, and you remember, in those days we had to go through Sunday school, and I was so schooled in Christianity. At that age of 9, we used to have what we call Children's Sunday. I was privileged to be the one that even preached in one of these Children's Sundays. So from there I progressed. In 2000 and in 1998, I became a missionary under Assemblies of God. So, and it was from there, we planted a church in Lantan North, Pilgani. And from there, I progressed until I became a pastor with Dunamis Church 2008. I went through Bible school, and through Bible school, 2008, I went through the Bible school. I became a staff. From there, 2010, 9-10, I became a pastor, a formal pastor. And in 2014, I got posted out to a location where I met, like my lawyer said, about 950 members. And before I left, it was almost, took it to over 3,000. And we got a land that we hosted my former boss, and he commended our effort. So, my lawyer said, they alleged that my write-up defamed them, and like he said, when we were invited, I honored their invitation, and I gave my statement, what I knew about the whole matter. And from there, I think.
Yeah, just a little network issue there. It will resolve and he'll be able to continue speaking. Like I said, it's expected when people are trying to join. Like I said, it's totally amazing how people are able to get by and do what they have to do from certain locations in Nigeria. It's not easy. Just being in this program for some people is a project altogether. So I can understand. I'm hoping that Abraham is able to resolve what is the issue and then get back to us. Okay, you're back. Abraham, can you hear me? Okay, you're back. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm back. I think, yeah, I can hear you now. Sorry.
Go ahead. Try not to move too much because
I had a bad network.
No, it's
What is
okay.
happening?
It's
The
okay.
network matter is really terrible.
It's
Okay.
okay. Don't
And they said
try
it's
not to
5
move.
p.m.
Try not
Okay,
to
it's
move
okay
too
now.
much.
So
Try not to move too much. Yeah.
okay. So the first day we got there, they invited us, they sent us letters, and we went on our own. When we got there, they asked us questions. They said concerned Christian youth wrote a petition against us that as a writer that I wrote things that defamed pastors, and they gave me statement to write, which my lawyer was there to guide, and I wrote my part of story. Like I said, I'm a humanist, and as a humanist, we represent humanity, and we promote the usage of the mind in terms of critical thinking. People should be able to criticize. People should be able to judge. Oh, okay. The network, I don't know what's happening today. And I'm using MTN. It's one of the best network in Nigeria now. Okay.
No, it's
People
okay.
should be
It's
able
okay.
to
Yeah,
criticize.
we're hearing you. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. So I'm not a humanist, like I said. So I write. That is to activate the minds of the people. People should be able to criticize. People should be able to subject what they hear. People should be able to analyze and use their mind. So when they said I defamed, I had to, allegedly now, I had to tell them my own side of the story. And we were given an administrative bail the next day, and they asked us to come back. When we came back, the next thing was they got an expertise to take us to prison. And to be honest with you, it was very funny, because the day we got there and they hand over us to the prison authority, we were not taken directly to prison. It will shock you, and I don't know whether I should even say that side of the story. If my lawyer will give me go ahead, and it will not infringe on the case. To be honest with you, it will shock you what happened.
No, your lawyer just said you saying what happened.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you're saying it is right or wrong. It is your story. So that's my understanding.
And
So I think, yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, okay, thank you so much. So the prison authority had to recall that particular staff back to base. We even gave him some money, which they compelled him to refund. And we at one point we even want, of course, our lawyer will still guide us whether we are to still continue with the petition against him, because he compromised. He took us from the police.
Abraham, you were going to talk about, there was an experience you were going to talk about. I don't know if you can recount that experience, because it sounded like it was, what was that experience? The network went off when you were going to talk about it.
Okay. I thought you heard me. The experience was the police handed us over to a staff of the correctional service. Mm-hmm. Now, the staff was to take us to a correctional facility on that day. Mm-hmm. And instead of him taking us there, he was driving us around town. He had to say his excuse was he needed to buy fuel. And the next thing he said was he's already late, that he approached a police station where he wanted us to stay. They declined, because the DPO said he had to call the CP, get consent from the CP. From there, he took us to another police facility where he collected money from us. And when we got to the following day, we were waiting for him to come take us to the correctional service. He delayed. We didn't see him till around, I think, 11 a.m. or 12 noon Nigerian time. When he came, he was giving excuses. And when we entered the car, instead of him driving us to the correctional facility, he was driving us around. He took us back to the court. I think he was having issue with court paper, whether the papers were not complete allegedly or not. So we at one point, he took us, while we were driving back to straight to the court, he took us to another court that his brake pad is having issue, so he won't be able to take us there. And he handed us over to another prison staff. It was from there we finally landed at the prison. That was the following day. And when we got to the prison, even our case or our offense allegedly was not on the form, because when you take an inmate to the prison, the alleged offense will be detailed on the form that you are using to admit them at the correctional facility. It wasn't there. And the staff that received us said if it was during the day, he would have returned us back. But because it was late at night, he admitted us. And the following day, he called them to get the actual offense, which it was alleged defamation. And we admitted to tell you about the process. And the money he collected from us, we had to report to the prison authority. He refunded it. He apologized. Of course, we promised him we are not going to press charges, but for the sake of clarity, how we left the police station to the correctional facility to straighten things and to set the record straight. That's why I narrated that story, and he refunded our money. So so far so good. I want to thank my lawyer and our leader, Showore, that stood by us. And of course, they said that our king, Ochidoma, has intervened, and within the week or so, he's going to invite us for peace. We are open, like our lawyer said. Whatever they are bringing up for peace, we are open. Like my lawyer said, we have been on this path for a long time. I've been there. I've been to prison over how many times on this matter, DSS, FCID, but we leave the courts to decide and whatever peace process they want to initiate to happen.
Okay, I'm going to ask you something, Abraham, because we are spectators, and it would not have really bothered us so much what is going on.
Yeah.
But you see, the position that Paul Enenche occupies, and this alleged things happening, is of great concern, and we shouldn't just let it slide. We are not interfering with court proceedings like the lawyer has guided us here. We are not the ones to determine who is right or wrong. But we are also hearing, we are watching, okay? We would really like to know what is this thing that made Paul Enenche so angry. So much so, do you know why it's important? And this is where maybe people don't understand me. Let me put this on a big screen so people will understand. You see, when, and that's the problem I'm beginning to have with our churches. Me, I'm also an ordained minister. Like I said at the beginning of this program, the doctor in my name is Reverend Dr. Chidi. When we are sick, when we are very sick, we go to hospital now. We go to hospital. Everything about the sickness is treated in hospital. When we need money, we have to go and look for money outside the church. Even when church build school, we have to find money to pay school fees in that school. When any issue, if somebody harasses us in church, we will leave church and go and get people from outside the church to deal with the person. And when they are dealing with the person, we're not dealing with the person just like, we are dealing with the person like the way they deal. You know, like when he says something, I will deal with you. My interaction with Apostle Suleiman made me understand that one. There was nothing pastoral or apostolic about it. It was just raw action. Nothing church about it. So, if when we need everything inside the church, we have to do it exactly the way the world does it, or even worse than the way the world does. What are we doing in church anymore? Because I don't get it. Like, what is now the clear difference? Shebi, somebody does something to us, and I'm not going into right or wrong now because I don't want to be prejudiced here. But where is the, like, I don't know. If we come and preach, let us take that person before God and report that person and pray. And after praying, go and wait for God to deal with that person. After preaching that, we now turn around and forget prayer and carry this person and go and take it there. So why am I not going to church now? Because like I don't see the difference. So that's why I'm kind of curious to understand this thing that is like so. Do you understand? What is it? You have to give us a little insight to make us understand. We are not saying whether it's right or wrong, but I'm curious to understand this thing that is now, we're not discussing it in church now. It is entirely outside the church. Now we're discussing where somebody is taken and driven and dealt with. And now what they do is, when I see they take you and they make sure, I will make sure you sleep in the cell. I'll make sure you sleep in the cell. They're not questioning them because when they go, they will shower, they will eat, they will by the time they leave that place, they are okay, they will speak to their lawyer. So it's not a threat. The only reason why you're threatening somebody in Nigeria that I will detain you and make sure you sleep there is because you already know that the condition there is horrible. So you are being mean. You're being mean to this, and you are paying this person back. There is nothing Christian about it. There's nothing church about it at all. You're not going to open the Bible and show me where Jesus Christ says, okay, Ivy, Peter, wait, show me those guys. Don't worry, we'll show them. No, that's not how he did it. Now, he was the one that said, no, Peter, put back your sword. It's not like that now. In fact, bring this person who fix his ear. So I don't get it. Is it really church that we're still doing or what? So please again, my brother, if you don't mind, so that we can put this in perspective. What is the crux of the matter in this thing?
Okay. Like you ask. To be honest with you, when I got to work with Dr. Paul, in my department I was one of the best staff, and I handled, like you said, I was even one time at family worship because I was in charge of production. And if you know, at family worship, you have one of the best recording equipment in Abuja then when it comes to recording, capturing.
This is the person that set, you see this guy, this is the person that set it up. Now he's in America, but this is the person that set it up.
No, you did a good job. You did a good job at family worship. Thank you so much, sir.
Go ahead.
I remember then we used to get we used to use your duplicator. If you remember your duplicator, your tape duplicator, we used to
CD duplicators.
Yes, even burners. So I set up most of these, not most, everything for them, and I had to their VHS. Most of these tape, the cassette, we know then. I had to transcribe them using Adobe Audition. Adobe Premiere, the audio to capture all his messages into soft copies. I had to get, I think, like over how many terabytes, create storage facility for all so that we can preserve his messages. Since the inception of that church, I had to go back. I had to arrange everything for them. And anytime, for instance, if you click a title, it will take you. I create an archives where you can go straight to the you can find everything software, and you from there go to the hard copy and all of that. And at one point, his personal gadget, the wife, the children, I was managing all of that. And throughout my service to him and for them, I have never been found wanting. Like Abraham, you stole my pin or my 1 naira. I think the whole thing started when most of the pastors, they saw my closeness with him. We are very close. I could go to his house, invite by invitation, even down to his room. And he will call me anytime, because as a pastor, your general overseer is literally your commander-in-chief. And this is your commander-in-chief. Sometimes he can call me 1 a.m. Like, Abraham, where are you? The reply will be, where do you want me to be? So I can drive from my home straight to the office or straight to wherever I want me to be to work for him. Sometimes that's what we call, I do a whole lot of things to make message preaching easy for him. I caught, if you know, like the family worship, you guys don't do much of what we call the normal healing and deliverance kind of. But we do all of that. So at one point, I think most of the pastors weren't comfortable and with my closeness, and also that political. There was a time when Goodluck Jonathan was campaigning when he's after the death of Yaradua. Goodluck became the commander in chief, and he was going for re-election against Buhari. And it was at that point I and him had that sharp disagreement, because I do not do politics, but I analyze situations. And based on my analysis, I saw that there were too many things that were going against Goodluck Jonathan, because the insecurity then, we had the Chibok girls, I think Chibok girls, that they were using that campaign against him, and too many things. So in our pastor's platform, I advised by sharing my opinion that everything looks like Buhari will win. And there was that day, that fateful day, we had pastors meeting. Dr. Paul was talking about giving out responsibilities and setting up a blog. And it was then he mentioned three names. He mentioned Pastor Pennell, he mentioned his PA, and he said, Abraham, you'll be the chief strategist. And it was at that point, most of the guys, they started shouting, Abraham, do not believe in what you are doing. Abraham, support Buhari. It was so, I don't know, that day as if the ground should open for me to enter. And I was trying to explain myself, but he was not ready to hear me, because I think he was disappointed at that point. But even though I tried to share my views, that wasn't the real story. They printed my reply, my post, even on social media, which was my direct page, not even the church platform where I air my personal view. And they presented all of them to him, that Abraham does not even support fatherhood or anything you are doing. Because I remember that time I criticized Bishop Oedipo, how I saw the role of his children around living faith, and I spoke against it. So they printed all of that and they used all of that against me. I think it was at that point our relationship started cutting. Are you with me, sir?
Yeah. I'm with you. But no. You're under one papa talking about another papa. No. That was playing with fire. But continue, Sha.
Yeah.
Don't mind me.
But you know, yeah, I understand. You know, we it was an in-house discussion as pastors. When we have WhatsApp group, everybody just talk freely. And
I know, my brother. Come on.
And as a pastor, I should have, even though I'm not a politician, I should have my political view. But that was where the whole thing started, and from there the gap started widening, and I noticed I wasn't fitting in anymore. I was seen like some rebel, some spy, because at one point they thought people were sponsoring me, and so I wasn't fitting in. So the best option was to quietly resign and face my life, so that it doesn't look like you are there, but it look as if you are some spy. And it was from there the whole thing started. It led to divorce. I lost my marriage. I married 2004. We had 5 kids together. I never cheated on my wife one day. For 15 years, I married her. I married as a virgin, as a matter of fact. I never abused her one day. I never hit her one day. But because of my exit from the church thing, she opted for divorce, and which I granted her. So my stand for humanity man, cost me a whole lot. I lost things, but it is okay. It's okay because it's part of what we have to pay price one way or the other. But what am I trying to say in a nutshell? It was that key thing that brought that widening, and of course, I know Dr. Paul, the wife, they liked me, and they wanted me to remain, but I was struggling to fit in. So it was more of I had a whole lot of paradigm shift, kind of. I don't know whether you are getting me, because I thought a whole lot of paradigm shift, like evolution, and I was being exposed to Miles Muro, Sunday Adelaja, on kingdom transition and all of that. So another person, Noah Woodruff. So people were thinking maybe I was becoming like Antichrist. So I knew I wouldn't fit in. So the best option was to leave. So that was what happened in summary. If I hope I made my point well.
Definitely. I was, and there's some other people who are here who have followed the case more than me. I'm stubborn like that too, and for that, I get a lot of I get a lot of misconceptions about my views, but I don't live my life for anybody, and I don't owe anybody any explanations. Okay, and that's where people mistakenly miss the mark. They think that maybe because they subscribe to my channel, maybe because I went to the same school with them, I'm from the same village with them, I live on the same street, I'm the same tribe with them, I'm a black person like them. People, for so many reasons, they have this sense of entitlement to my life. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if I have to here things that because I went to Family Worship Center with him, I have to think a certain way. Mr. Jerry, that one with that red cap there, that's another crazy fellow. He thinks that because he's a Biafra person, that me, I have to think a certain way. My lawyer here now, Oyege, who's a comrade like me, thinks I think a certain way. A favor, Jem, I just put up, he says, well done, sir. I relate with him on certain levels. He's a media guru. He does mixing and productions and all that. Because I have that relationship with him, you expect, no, if you live life like that, you will die. You will die because every single, before the 24 hours of the day, you have 1,000,001 people preparing for you how you must behave. That's not life. No, that's not life. And immediately, the moment you understand this, you will have peace. Because you see all these people, they give you one assignment of how they think you must behave towards them in the morning.
Okay.
And you start doing that to please them. By afternoon, they change. So that same thing they expected from you, by afternoon, they saw something else and they've changed. And now they call you and they say, no, you know what? In the morning, I wanted you to greet me good morning. I didn't greet me. Actually, in the afternoon, I've learned that it's evening that people are supposed to greet. And now I expect you to greet me good evening. So what are you going to do? You greet them good evening in the afternoon to make them happy. And then you greet another one good night in the morning to make that one happy. It doesn't work that way. But I'm going to allow some of the people here to talk about the issue. Okech has asked, what will you say concerning, because I mean, you're here. If you're obliged, just will ask these questions. You don't have to answer them. But if you do that, what I'm trying to do in my show is I'm trying to know you for myself. I'm trying to know this story for myself, because I can be very tenacious. So, like, if you see where tick bite dog or cow, when I put my fangs on something, I know they let go. And if now you go regret if I stay I'm on your side and you just do like this, you don't finish with maybe that. But if you're doing your own thing, you're keeping it straight with me, man, I can be with you all the way. And I know your lawyer. Your lawyer has done a lot of good for our movement. He has done a lot of good for humanity, for persecuted people, for the liberation struggle. So that's why you see me I follow him so closely, and I'm willing to put head where he puts head. Now,
Yeah.
my brother KJ, I'm going to bring you in. I want you to, come into this matter. You want to ask a question, you want to make a contribution. Let's hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Chidi, for having me. And I've been following from the background since you've been speaking, and you touched some chords that I want to expand a bit, and then also speak to Abraham directly.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
Chidi,
much.
you people who don't know you may not know that part of you. The other architect you are trying to call is Engineer Agada, Peter Agada, right?
Yes. No,
Who
no, it
was
wasn't Agada. Agada was there, but it was Peter Alegano. Peter didn't function with us. He
okay,
was That's a slim, tall guy, fair guy. He wasn't like Peter Agada. He was
okay,
those ones that were really
okay,
not too active, but he
okay,
worked
okay.
a little bit with us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, at the exception of, well, we don't want to go into that, but we know the role that Pastor Ena played in the bringing up of Dunamis, which is
Yes.
not what,
Yes.
what we're going to share on this platform.
Sure.
I was also one of those who started the media, your media there in Dunamis. I've done several
Okay.
trainings.
Who was I talking? Who's this guy I was trying to talk about now? The tall guy, Pastor who?
In
Is it
Dunamis,
Tayo?
No,
Tayo.
no, not Tyler now. It's Richie or what's his name? You know him now. He's tall. He's this outside guy. He later traveled abroad. He went to school somewhere. Don't worry, you remember him. He
Okay, I
was
remember him.
Yeah, he came later, stayed a little bit, and then left. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, so we've been coming a long way. I know that Pastor Nencha, who probably want not to watch this, but when he sees me, you know me. I've done we used to go there and actually do training and conduct some of his interviews. I mean, we shot some of those interviews for him, with a guy called Austin Ekanen. Okay, why am I bringing that in? And I want to tell you something you should put in your mind. Although now you say I'm not a Christian any longer, I will not talk to that. But I will say to those guys who will be probably listening to this who work in church environment. As long as you key into church environment, there are very few pastors who see you and see your expertise and recognize it and use it. This is my personal advice after working in that environment for over 17 years. I can let you know that your expertise is nothing to your pastor. He can go outside and see somebody who just learned how to do Adobe Premiere yesterday and come back with one thing and tell you that, look, oh, this thing I've been doing,
You're
see,
fired.
I saw this who did it like this. His own is better. What have you been doing? And then you yeah, the churches I've worked for, some of them have gone out and met people I trained who are, and they'll come back and tell me, this person do this like this. Why are you not doing that? Why is our own media not doing this? And eventually people see him when he goes and tell them the person in charge of his media, the people will say, now, that's the guy who trained me now. You know.
I
So
was
it
talking about
becomes,
Churchill. I was talking about
yes.
Churchill.
So I
Churchill.
just want you to know that they do not appreciate it, especially that the ones you are serving under. There are very few of them who appreciate what you do. So you have to first of all give yourself console yourself by saying you are working for God. Now, if you have the fact that you are working for God, then all these things that we're now trying to deal with will not come there because yours is to service to humanity and to God who has created you and given you life. When I came to this realization, I don't really mind when people try to say things that are not right with what I'm doing or see me and try to belittle what I've done. It's okay because I'm not serving you, I'm serving God. Having said that, I also want to say that just like Dr. Chidi said, it was a wrong move because Dr. Nenche, with due respect, is coming from under the Oyedepo line of ministers. Success have plenty brethren. If Oyedepo wasn't successful, I'm sure that many people who claim now that he is their father will not be doing that. But be it as it may, so even to say anything about him being a church environment, like I know, there are very few ministers and their subordinates who will accept you in that order. And then this is your. I've watched all your interview, the ones you did with I can't remember his name now. I watched it from the beginning to the end because I know your face, so you're not totally a strange person to me. And since you said you were in Dunamis in 2008, yeah, I did some training there 2008, 2009, and all. So I also recommended the equipment that Dunamis bought. Most of the equipment, the camera equipment, and all that, those came from me
Mm.
and a guy called Michael Echoy. I don't know if you know Michael Echoy,
Yeah,
a very
yeah.
great
I do.
editor.
I know, man.
Okay. So now, I haven't said that. I'm saying to say that the interview you gave was quite, I heard it. I believed a lot of what you said because I know I operate on that environment. What I don't, what I didn't, if I had the opportunity of meeting with you before now is that don't join fight with these people, especially when you're in the
Okay.
environment. In Nigeria, it's a big man syndrome. The big man takes it all. Why some of us are living outside of Nigeria today, not because we couldn't stand and face it, but you see, just like you now, you are the one that are dragging up and down, wasting your time, wasting your resources, wasting your God given talent. You cannot, you cannot exercise your God given talent inside the four wall of a prison, even if it's just for 1 week, even if for 3 days. It's a waste of your time and energy. So sometimes, am I saying that we shouldn't fight, what is just? No, I'm saying that let us learn how to pick our fights. There are many people who, and I'm sure that Chidi knows this. I mean, even the FWC will praise, and we all worked so hard. There are many people who left in bitterness. They're not happy as we left and say, okay, our work is concluded. Now we're moving to another level. So in the church environment, your talents is sometimes looked down on, especially if there's a new kid on the block. And your wife interview also, you say you were no longer married to her, but it's also a consideration of how people will rate you. Now, how
Yeah.
people will rate you, and then of course you know that emotion is the first thing that people first of all get in to their face before they begin to think of what is the reality. Once a woman puts up certain emotion, people are bound to go with her, except for very few who don't look at emotion. And so her testimony of your living together is not very, it's not very encouraging of your character. And then coupled with the fact that, in the environment you work was a Christian environment, but you have moved away from it. And you are now totally on a different level, which is the humanity angle. People who are
Yeah.
going to listen to you will be judging you. I'm just giving you a platform where they'll be judging you based on all these things. They will look at this one, they will look at this one, and they look at this one, and they will say, okay, in much as we don't think you should be a Christian, but you are now, a humanist. So, I mean, what is that? That means all the while you are not in line with Enenche's message. Now, I'm not one of Enenche's people, and I don't have anything against his ministry. But all I'm saying is that if we can find a way to settle it, if you have an opportunity given to you to settle it outside of court, please take the option and leave it. You see, the thing, just like Chidi said, the Bible says that vengeance is mine. But in Nigeria, it is the ministers that venge for themselves. They don't allow God to be the one that venge for them. You see a minister, quarreling and shouting and saying, "Look, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do." Why don't you leave God to be the one to take the vengeance if you believe what the person have done is wrong? So I'll say to you, Abraham, you have fought a good fight, and sometimes you need to. Bob Marley says this way: "He who fights and run away lives to fight another day." So maybe it's time that also you take a back step and allow the fight, leave it to God to do. The truth of the matter is that if the church in Nigeria is doing what we are called to do, I'm sure there'll be less poverty in Nigeria. But I'm not here to judge the church. I'm just trying to give my own little advice as somebody who has been in that environment. You have been appreciated by many, and also not so appreciated by many. It might suit you to understand that there's certain places that that I giving my talent and treasure free of charge. But when you what
Mm.
you hear after that is that, oh, this guy, don't mind him, is this. And then before I finish, I'll end with this. Chidi, there's a guy I used to help do his media. I'll go there, run his cameras, do his everything, do everything. And so, but at that time they thought that what I was doing was not very significant. I mean, what is the big deal? You design a studio, yes. You put the cameras, you put everything, you record the interview, yes. Also, well, when I left, one day they wanted to do exactly what I wanted to do. And he had called me in the USA and said, come on, I got some people together and they are charging me 50,000 naira just to run a camera. Just to run one camera, they are charging 50,000 naira. Can I imagine? I saying they can't do I used to do 8 episodes. They are going to do only one episode. And if I'm going to do 8 episodes, I have to pay the 50,000. So I said to him, what were you thinking before? What were you thinking? He said, no, no, no. I mean, you used to do this. He didn't. I said, but what were you thinking? That's what it cost. And if you're going to take someone like me who have all this experience, it will cost even more. I don't charge anything less than 80,000 for 1 hour. So why should I come and do that? He said, really? I said, yes, sir. That's what it cost. So what you going to do now? I said, who is the guy? He gave me the guy's name. I said, okay, I know him. Is he there with you? He said, yes. Give him the phone. He gave the guy the phone. I said, oh boy, now me, my pastor. He said, who am I talking to? I said, I called my name. He said, now you, okay, tell me now, So he turned to the pastor and said, this is my organa. This guy even trained me how to use some of this equipment. Yeah. So you know what? Because of him now, I'm going to bring the charge down to 20,000. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. It was only then that he now started appreciating what I was doing for him. Even at that, he still says that the quality that they are getting is not the same thing. And I said, you see, that's the difference. Now, why am I bringing all this story? I'm bringing it to say to you, most times they will not appreciate what you have done. Most times they will not see your worth. Most times you yourself, you go even begin wonder, say, no, be your time in the waste for this place. But take it that you are doing the work for somebody who is higher than you. Then you have your peace. Take it that also what is happening to you now is a path to where God is taking you. Then you also have your peace. And then with that, you can defer to the man. It's not that you are giving him anything. No, you're just deferring to him. So, okay, Oga, based on the fact that this is who you are, and the society have given you more prominence than myself, I defer to you. Okay, let this end, and you can have your life and move on. I beg you, my brother. Thank you so much.
Anyway, thank you very much. All I see this Daniel is like we are not the lawyers, we are not the law court. This is the court of public opinion, and we are seeing this from a neutral perspective. And you are connecting the dots now. I didn't plan this program like this, but you're seeing now that you're talking. You're in a place where you're amongst people that you have a connection with. Okay, we are calling names that we know. We are calling places, events that are real. Okay, so we are not just people who are just online trying to make content. Okay, and so it's I really like the way everything is going. Before I bring in Dr. SM Oyege, I'm going to allow Jerry to speak to this, and then we'll start to close. Jerry, go ahead. Jerry, we're not hearing you. Jerry, no, you. We're not hearing you, Jerry. Okay.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir. Chief Priest Jerry.
Thanks for having me here, and I'm saying greetings to the audience too. My name is Jerry. I am always interested in coming to the program of this, our brother, Dr. Cadet. A lot of people see him from different perspectives. He looks very humble. He looks very pleasant. And he uses this, to deceive a lot of people. He is a radical. He is very stubborn. Because people, even that are close to him, have not seen him fighting publicly when he is affected. If you see him fighting, my brother, you go back one corner, they look at him. I'm telling you. But that is how people, because a lot of people are carried away by their own perspectives. Some people will look at you that, oh, because we are friendly, you have to support what I am doing, even when that is not your own thought process, when that is not in your own line of thinking.
Sure,
You,
sure.
you want him to support you because you are friendly with him. You want him to support you because he comes from the same village with you. You want him to support you because he attended the same school with you, or there is a social group that you share with him. That is not the truth. He alone can fight the whole senators of Nigeria when they left. A lot of people won't cover it. The senators in Nigeria left there, came to Canada to camp in a hotel where the light is steady. If you see how they are gallivanting at the launch of this five-star hotel, while arrangements have been made to take them to Niagara Falls. But this is the time when our Nigerian students were at home on strike. These people that were voted to take care of the masses abandoned everything, jetted out with their Easter code, and come to Canada to enjoy. But these guys spoke fears into them that a lot of them were running into their rooms. You know?
And I went with Jerry. It's with Jerry that I went. It's two of us that went there to go and cause the
Yes,
commotion.
he is the one that took the action. He is the one. I was wondering how is this man going to do this. But hence I have followed him and saw how he stepped in. I killed him straight away. You know, so he is such a person that believes in what is right, not where you come from or whatever friendship is exercising with you. No. So it's good to know him, but tolerate him the way he is because you cannot change him. This is somebody I have known for years. You know, so having told you that he is very stubborn, very, very stubborn, very, very, very stubborn, it does not matter. It does not matter to him whatever ties that holds both of you together. But when it comes to the love of the people, the interest of the people, you cannot manipulate him. No, you cannot take him to your own side. You can be friends after the deal is done, but as far as that point is concerned, Dr. Sid Haddad is stubborn to the core. Stubborn to the core. And I think he has injected that same blood to the wife too. Only God knows what the children will become. You know?
Anyway, Jerry, just to help us, this is
Okay.
not a program
What?
about me. I
What?
think we
Okay.
have to
What?
connect it to our brother because that's really why we're here.
Excuse me, sir. Yeah, but sometimes it is good to let this information out so that people who have been deceived, who have been manipulated, will understand that when it comes to this is no-go area. Like when you're talking about Paul and Enche, which I personally don't agree with what they're doing in the church. When it comes to the other man, it that had an affair with a Tobe, Stephanie.
Stephanie Otobo, Apostle
Stephanie
Suleiman.
Otobo. You know, when Apostle Suleiman, there are people who are afraid of saying the truth because we have been deceived a lot by these churches. We have been exploited. We have been manipulated. We have been deceived by what they're saying there, because no matter what they say there, you don't raise hand up to ask them questions. They'll tell you what they want to tell you and you leave. So whatever you're saying it at the side. It doesn't make no meaning. I think that the impression most of the churches are showing us now is to think twice about the churches and what they're doing in our midst. I'm not telling anybody to leave the church, but for me, I think civilization has opened our eyes, and what people who are intelligent or people who've been there with them, what they are seeing now is enough thinking tank for people to re-examine: is the church helping our society, or is the church another parallel government from the government that their mission is only to exploit you and tell you whatever they want to tell you in the media, and continue eating your flesh and fanning you while they are exploiting you? I don't see the difference now between the church, where we will look at as where our miracle should come. We are looking at the church, who will leave us with their hocus pocus, and nothing comes for the common man. They have jets, they live in big houses, they have universities, they have whatever thing. But what are the common worshippers benefiting from this place? If you go to Britain today, or if you go to Germany, a lot of churches are being deserted simply because where you have gone for 20 years and nothing good coming out there to benefit you. I mean, what are you going there for? What are you keep on thinking? It is good that we do what we can do, just as that guy wearing the orange cap, orange beret. You see, that is a symbol that cannot remove from him, and he is not ashamed of following you, no matter where you come from, no matter what you're doing. In his own objective analysis, the moment he sees that you are doing the right thing, and he declares that he's going to be with you, he will be with you forever. That is a good quality about him. Here in Canada, Dr. Chid, as quiet as he looks, is very controversial. Objectively controversial. Objectively. The kind of promotion he gives to our people here is second to none. But you can't see it on him. You can't see him boasting with it. You can't even see him talking what I am talking now. I just said that, no, let me address the viewers about this gentleman that is extremely controversial in objective way. Right. So whatever you are doing that you can do well, please, my brother, keep on doing it. Don't let people, society, or whatever nepotistic values will force you into doing. Be yourself. Be yourself. Represent yourself. Don't allow people to push you to a corner that will ridicule your life and what you have been mandated inside you to carry out. Whatever we can do to help that nation, we got to do our best. And the one we cannot do, we leave it. Even if we are expecting God to come from heaven to do it, we're deceiving ourselves. Because God cannot do what He has commissioned you to do. Whatever values He wants you to push to people, you are commissioned to do this. You are mandated to do this. You are ordained to do it. Do it without looking at the distraction or derailment of people.
Thank you so much, Jerry.
I cannot talk about the lawyers or the law court, because I know the law court in Nigeria has nothing to write home about. The lawyers also are all compromised because where corruption has taken place, any other foundation there is nothing because it is led on nothing. Thank you, and remain blessed and work hard as you are working. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jerry. Thank you. I don't take what Jerry has said here for granted, and that's why sometimes I don't come out and do these shows anymore, because we just do them when it's important. A lot has changed online. People are doing content now, and the kind of content, when we started out with an objective, just putting what we believe out there. Now it's no longer about what you believe or doing real content. It's about comedy. It's about just doing things that don't even have any anything else, or just picking on a story and just creating one wild sensational thing around the story. But we won't stop doing what we're doing. Jerry, I thank you for that, for those kind words. Now let us, my brother Abraham, I don't know, we came to talk about you, but it's like the discussion the discussion has
No, it's
taken,
okay. I so much enjoyed it.
it's taken another
Yeah.
direction. Just
I'm
soak
sorry,
it in.
I so
I'm
much.
sorry, Abraham. I am only given an iceberg of a little people know about that man. If I,
Wow.
I'll hold my mouth not to call him a terror
It's
because
okay.
they
It's okay.
can.
Let's leave it. The reason
Yeah.
the reason why let me try to put this in perspective here. Probably because I knew when all this thing was happening between you and Paul and Enche and all this. To me, it was a bit sensational. I have fought. You know, when Okech was telling you about picking your fight, thank God you have a
Yeah.
good lawyer to guide you. But you see, we have
Yes, sir.
we have fought and we have fought. We have, in short, Nigeria, sometimes you just get tired of even fighting for any cause in Nigeria, because the same people that you're doing what you're doing are hoping that somebody will look at you and learn or be inspired to do something. The same people turn around and begin to attack you and say, who sent you? And that could frustrate you to a point of depression. And if you're not careful, it will affect your mental health. And your mental health is very, very important. So we come do these things. When it becomes too much, we take the back seat, and then, but now I look at it, I see the person who is involved. I'm like, you know what, let me even come close and hear the facts for myself. This is just the beginning. I'm going to follow the case. I'm going to understand what is going on. I'm willing to help wherever I can help, as long as you are genuine in the way you pursue things. And let me warn you here, my brother, with due
Yeah.
respect. And I'm not blowing my trumpet, but hey, it's my trumpet. If I don't blow it, who will blow it for me?
Ooh,
The same
great.
the same way I'm willing to work with you, stand by you, support you when I think that your mission is genuine, that you're saying the truth. When I see, or if I see that you're being manipulative in any way, especially when you've told me something, because I'll always hold what you told me. I can't say what you said to somebody. At least I see what you told me. I know where you think that I'm going with you. If you derail the same way, I'm going to come out to the public and say, this is how far I went with this guy. This is what he's doing. I will not cover you, because covering you will be detrimental to somebody else. I believe in fairness,
Absolutely.
everybody. If a group of people start following you and thinking that you're saying the truth, and they put their life, put their profession, put every credibility on the line, and then you begin to go another way that is not real, that's not truthful, that is deceptive, I'm not going to cover you or not expose what you're doing, because if I don't do if I do that, it will be detrimental to the other people who were following you. So if you start
Absolutely.
going a certain way, we need to come and still say this is what is going on, so that at the end of the day, there's fairness for everybody. All right.
Yeah.
Um,
Thanks.
I'm going to allow you say something, because I mean this is running now for almost how many hours now. I'm going to let you say something, then I'll let your lawyer speak, and we will end this our broadcast. But I'm really,
Okay.
really happy that I got to talk with you one on one. We'll
Yes, sir.
watch this as it goes, and I'm believing we'll be able to discuss more. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, distinguished leader. To be honest with you, I am privileged to be part of this telecast tonight. And like I said, anything I say, please scrutinize me, judge me, and wherever I am found wanting, please go ahead. And like my other big brother said about my ex-wife, I did a video today, a very short one. I wanted to reply her when I came out of detention, but I had a second thought because when I was in detention, there were a whole lot of people trying to, make paint narrative and all of that. But I consider my children. I consider my children. I have four girls, one boy, and because I love details, and I'll be calling names and places, and because of that, I had to pause because I don't want to always put my children on the spotlight. Uh, to,
Yeah.
to, 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 to be honest with you, one of my daughter was RAPE and under her custody. Another of my daughter was also RAPE. She didn't tell me that. It was later someone told me, but so because of all of that, and when she did her podcast for me, I don't know how to give hate for hate. I want to give love, and even though I love justice and equity, I don't like peace because sometimes graveyard is full of quietness and also terrible injustice. So I am a very when it comes to injustice, I hate it, and I always like to fight it. But you know how we are in our country and all of that. So for me and to her, and I will let that slide for the sake of my children, and because there's a whole lot of narrative right now, and I know with time, as they grow, they will see life from a wider point of view. And also, like my big brother said, whatever peace opportunity that comes, I am ready. I've been on this struggle for almost 6 years, and I know what I have lost. And it's not because I want to be on it. Even when it's just like you are hiding it, you are still pulled out into the struggle. So, my leader, I am grateful for this opportunity and this platform given to me. I don't take relationship for granted. My leader, my lawyer, I respect you. Thank you so much for giving me this awful opportunity. I am grateful.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Dr. Yege, bringing you in to kind of
They took our life.
oh, that's Nigeria for you. It's okay. At least
Oh God.
if it doesn't happen, we think that you're in America. So at least now we know you're
He
telling,
just humbled me. He just humbled me.
you're telling
Can
us
you
the truth.
imagine?
No
Can you
problem.
imagine that?
We believe you.
He
We
just
believe
exposed
you.
us.
Yes, 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 yes. Dr. Oyege, can you put on your camera and just address us as we close? I hope you're there. I hope he's not, maybe he left. Okay. If he's not here, it's okay. It's okay. I'll just close for us. I'd like to thank everybody that is, I see those of you in the comments section. Um, John Zig, Dr. Brooks, I see you. For Life Esther, I see you. My brother KJ, thank you so much. Jerry, thank you. Blessing Peoples, longest time, thank you so much. Blessing. Suaz Media, Comrade Suaz, thank you very much. And then every other person who, Favor, thank you so much. Favor, thank you. Who else? Those of you that I'm not seeing, those of you on Facebook, those of you on LinkedIn, those of you on Twitter, thank you very much. And let's continue fighting. We do what we do, like KJ said. It's not, we don't do it because of people, we do it because of God. If you don't believe me, I'm a living example. Every single seed I sowed in Family Worship Center, I deposited a part of my life. A part of my life is left in Family Worship Center. I deposited it there and left.
Yeah.
So,
Mm.
but for that, I got 1,000,000 times over. I don't regret
Wow.
it. Nobody
Wow.
can ever pay me. You can't. And I didn't get paid. I did my service in Family Worship Center 4 years for free, 4 years with my master's degree, living in an uncompleted building, sleeping on the
What?
ground with carton. Carton was my window, carton was my door, mosquito. We were going to toilet in the bush. I chose that for 4 years. I was supervising a project of more than 500 how did they say? I think it was 1 point something, 500 something million or whatever dollars that time, and yet I didn't have any story of misappropriation of even one kobo, and I managed it to the glory of God. Everything the first thing I asked for was I said, God, I don't want money, I don't want house, I don't want car. All I want, because all that period I didn't go out with anybody. I didn't. It will sound like a cliche here, but I didn't have any sex with any girl or anything. All I asked was for a good wife, and I don't need to tell you that I got the best wife in the world. That's almost like a
Wow.
trophy wife. So, and then every other
Thank
thing was added to it. The job I have here, the kind of life I live here, and every other success that I've had in my life, I can attribute it clearly. Doesn't matter what anybody say, to the seed I sowed in Family Worship Center. There is a direct connection to that. So I'm saying that to just corroborate what KJ said, that even if you don't remember anything, as long as you remember that you have sowed the good seed in the house of God, not in the hands of men of God. They are all servants. We are all servants before God. If you understand, they said that those that know their God, they shall do exploits. They behave like they are too pompous. It's because they know them. So me, I'm the way I am, and people see me like, it's because I know my God. I know that I know that I know. That's what gives me this confidence and makes me look like I'm boastful and pride. No, I know. I know my relationship is between me and my God, and we're okay. So let that encourage you. Let us encourage you to do everything that you're doing, and not let these guys, don't let anybody distract you. Okay. If you can just try and pick your fight, reorganize your life, and think about your mental health. Think of how many more years you have left in this world, and make the best, live it to the fullest, and enjoy it and make the best of it. That would be my best advice to you. But we'll be there to help whatever way we can. We'll be there to bring the story. We'll be there to give this our own perspective to it, working with other comrades, and allow God to help us. Yes, thank you, everybody. On behalf of Dr. Erica, yes, thank you, Jerry. Thank you, Miss Chief Priest Jerry. Thank you, Okech. Thank you once more, Abraham. And then our lawyer is not there, but thank you, Dr. S.M. Oyege. And on behalf of Dr. Erica, and my name is Dr. Chidi, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye-bye.